time it's already 1:30 p.m. po, and let's start na po sa ating orientation. Again, good afternoon everyone at sa ating mga guests po sa ating plenary. Thank you for joining us today po, and we have already 150 participants po and counting po. No? So, yung mga kasamahan po natin no, na humahabol at sa mga kakajoin lang po. No? So, we will start na po yung ating orientation po. So, let me ask for your permission po to allow us to record this orientation. Sa mga accept na lang po, no? Yung ating permission to record yung ating activity ngayong hapon na ito. So again, kung ako po ay maririnig at nakikita, so type lang ng 1212. Kung hindi po ako naririnig, at kung medyo mahina po yung aking audio, so let me know po sa ating chat box po. So thank you so much po sa mga participants natin na active sa ating activity ngayon. Once again po, good afternoon and welcome sa ating virtual tax orientation. So today is February 24, 2022. And ayun po, no, sa ating pong mga participants na may namurito po sa ating regional office, meron din po tayo sa ating mga provincial offices at ating mga field offices, municipal offices po. And good afternoon po. So we hope po na nakapag-lunch po tayo, no? Ngayong bago tayo masimula sa ating orientation. So, itong orientation po nito, bago po tayo mag-start po.
Let us bow our heads and put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today. May you bestow your guidance and blessings so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone who are present here today, that each one of us may be able to share our knowledge, understanding, and wisdom for your glory and honor. May the various activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We all ask of this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
And as we are going towards to our ISO po, so let me share po ng ating DSWD quality policy.
Touching lives, empowering people, uniting communities.
Indeed, the Department of Social Welfare and Development has been true in carrying out its golden commitment to the nation. That is, providing the poor, vulnerable, and disadvantaged people with maagap at mapagkalingang serbisyo amid all challenges, anytime and anywhere. Hence, to strengthen and foster this commitment and dedication, the department is proudly committed to D. Deliver, coordinate, and monitor social protection programs and services to the poor, vulnerable, and disadvantaged population towards a fair, just, and peaceful society. S. Sustain a culture of excellence through continual improvement of systems, mechanisms, and procedures in the delivery of programs and services. W. Work with integrity and adhere to ethical standards for customer satisfaction and quality service by complying with the DSWD mandates and other pertinent laws. And D. Demonstrate genuine concern for the poor, prompt compassionate service, and free from any form of corruption. With this commitment, the department will continue to reach more people, conquer greater heights, and carve a remarkable name in the field of public service in the country and around the world. DSWD, maagap at mapagkalingang serbisyo.
Once again po, isang maagap at mapagkalingang serbisyo po sa ating mga participants at sa ating mga guests po. So, tayo ay magsisimula na sa ating virtual tax orientation. Ito po ay initiative activity ng ating Financial Management Division in coordination with the Human Resource Management and Development Division. So, I'm Joel Abrantes from the Learning and Development section. So, ako po yung magiging moderator for you po so this afternoon activity po. So, just a few housekeeping po, attendance po natin ay open na po. So, kindly click po doon sa ating chat box, yung link na provide po ng ating kasamahan sa learning section po. No? And kung tayo po ay mag-join ng ating virtual meeting po, no? So kindly mute lang po yourself po, no? Para po ma-ensure po natin yung smooth flow po ng ating program. Po. So, sa mga questions naman po natin, kung meron po tayo later on po, no, ang ating chat box po ay available po at i-entertain po natin ang questions niyo po afterwards po na discussion po with the research person po. So, to formally po, open yung ating activity. So, we have the message from the Regional Director, Sir Fernando Ardevilla Jr.
Magandang hapon sa lahat ng mga kasama natin ngayon sa ating virtual tax orientation. Pagbati sa lahat ng mga kawani ng DSWD MIMAROPA Region dito sa ating regional office at maging sa mga provincial offices. May mga inimbitahan din tayong mga resource speakers mula sa Bureau of Internal Revenue o BIR, District Office number 33 sa pangunguna ni Group Supervisor at Training and Seminars Project Coordinator, Mr. Ronald Quiñones. Ngayong hapon ay isang magandang oportunidad para sa ating lahat upang lubos na maunawaan ang mga kasalukuyang guidelines at panuntunan sa usapin ng taxation. Ipapaliwanag din sa atin ng mga RPs mula sa BIR ang tax computation, tax compliance at may oras din sila upang sagutin ang inyong mga katanungan hinggil sa taxation. Napapanahon na at mahalaga ang aktibidad natin ngayon dahil bilang mga manggagawa ng gobyerno at kabahagi ng public service, dapat tayo ang unang gumagawa ng ating obligasyon ng pagbabayad ng naaangkop na buwis. Ngayon pa lamang ay nagpapasalamat na ako sa ating mga kasama mula sa BIR sa panahon na inilaan nila para sa atin ngayong araw. Inaasahan ko ang aktibong pakikilahok ng lahat sa gawaing ito. Patuloy tayong magbigay ng serbisyo may puso saan man sa Mimaropa. Magandang hapon at mabuhay tayong lahat.
DSWD, katuwang ang mga kapuspala.
Ayan po, muli no, ang paalala ng ating Regional Director po na ating pakikilahok na sa ating activity for this afternoon. So before we proceed sa ating objectives po, no, so gusto naman po natin munang makita po yung ating mga participants. So kindly open po your camera to see you po. At ito-take na rin natin yung opportunity po na makapag-photo off po tayo. So I'll give you a minute po to freshen up para sa ating photo off. Kung may camera po kayo, so paki-open na lang po yung ating camera po para tayo po magka-kita-kita po at sa mga participants natin na nakaka-join lang po. So tayo ay magpo-photo opportunity muna. Ayan. It's nice po to see po yung ating mga participants from the regional offices or from our field offices sa ating mga municipal offices po. So magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. So tayo po ay pipicturean na po no, ng ating kasamahan sa Learning and Development section. So isang matamis na ngiti po sa ating lahat. Smile po in count of 1, 2, 3. So, isa pa daw po, no, para po sure po tayo no na na-capture po ang ating mga participants. In count of 1, 2, 3, smile! Ayan po. Maraming salamat po sa mga participants natin na nag-open ng kanilang camera. So ngayon po, dala ko ulit po tayo sa ating objective. So para saan po ba yung ating orientation for this afternoon? Po. So, ang ating objective po ng ating orientation is to familiarize po tayo sa ating mga staff with the current taxation guidelines po and regulations. And also po kasama po dyan pagbibigay ng information on the tax computation and deduction. And ma-discuss po yung common issues and concerns na may encounter natin in relation to sa tax. So, ang ating program outline, nabanggit na rin ng ating regional director, kasama po dyan yung ating taxation rules and regulations. At for the salary tax computation, ano nga po ito compute, and yung ating compliance po for the permanent and contractual employees, and also for the cost of service and MOA job employees po natin. And lastly po, yung ating mga frequently asked questions about the tax and also yung ating mga personal questions po na makikita po doon sa ating filing ng tax ay i-discuss po ng ating mga visitors po and guests for this afternoon. So now without further ado po, so let's i-introduce po yung ating resource persons po from the Bureau of Internal Revenue. Makakasama natin headed by Mr. Ronald Quinones. Ito po ang ating group supervisor and training and seminars project coordinator. Kasama po Mr. Rayan Nipal, Group Supervisor, Mr. Loreto Hilde, the Revenue Officers po. And lastly po, Ma'am Abigail Urban po, the Revenue Officers po. So, good afternoon po sa ating mga business persons po and guests po.
Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po, sir. So, we will now turn over the time po sa inyo, sir.
Yes po. Clear ba yung audio ko po? Okay po.
Yes,
Malakas po. Good afternoon, fellow public servants from the DSWD MIMAROPA Region. Fellow revenue officers, good afternoon. So our topic for this afternoon is RMC 51-2018 and then RR 11-2018 regarding sa withholding tax compensation, and i-discuss din po namin mamaya yung plans and programs ng aming district office namin. Okay. Siguro let's start with RMC 51-2018. So, ma'am, sino po in charge po sa slides po natin? Kayo, Ma'am Jobel?
Ito po, let me share po yung inyong presentation.
Ayun. Okay. So once again, good afternoon. So start natin yung discussion natin sa registration and compliance requirements of individuals under job order or contract of service arrangement. So ito lahat po ng guidelines ng registration, sa registration requirement, bookkeeping requirements, invoicing requirements, tapos tax compliance na dito po sa RMC. And then, the requirements for registration, which is napaka-importante kasi yun ang gagamitin nyo pag pupunta kayo sa district office namin. Okay. Next slide po, ma'am. Okay. So, discuss ko lang yung the employment of such personnel requires the executions of any of the following. So, lahat po naman job order natin, di ba, nag-execute sila ng contract of service o kaya MOA. So, a job order between the government agency and the concerned individual. So, may clarification po tayo sa civil service po. Next slide po, ma'am. So, under existing policies and guidelines ng Civil Service Commission natin, so contract of service and job order, so wala pong employer-employee relationship. and that the services rendered shall not be considered as a government service. So under civil service rule po to. So to begin with our discussion with the registration of the job order. So yung registration ng job order, kumbaga hinati-hati based sa gross receipts mo sa isang taon. So start tayo dun sa mga gross receipts na 250,000 and below sa isang taon, tapos isa lang po yung payer nila. So yung registration requirements nila, ito po. So pupunta kayo sa office namin, dala niyo po yung contract of service nyo. And then, 2 valid IDs, birth certificate, pwede din passport, indicating your date of birth, and then address. Importante yung address kasi dun po kayo magpaparehistro na district office. No? Kasi sa office kasi, may mga pupunta, job order, registered yung agency sa amin. Pero hindi po siya yung address na gagamitin niya, yung residence niya, hindi yung sa address po ni agency ng government. So, unang requirements po yun lang. Basic lang. Contract of service, tapos yung 2 valid ID, birth certificates. In case marriage siya, marriage contract, kasi i-update natin yung sa system namin. Encode natin lahat yan, input natin. So, pagdating niya sa office namin, so kukuha siya ng mga forms, applicable forms. So yung forms na 1901. So yung 1901 po is yun po yung application for registration if i-fill up mo yan. So attachment, yun nga, contract of service plus yung mga birth certificate, passport, and the like. And then, magbabayad po sila ng RF po, registration fees. So using form 0605. Yung tax type nila, so subject sila ng income, percentage. So take note, ito lang yung mga 250 and below. Mamaya mayroon pong kwanta. Yung mga 250 above, meron din pong ibang requirements din. Tapos registration requirements. Ito lang is concentrated lang po doon sa 250 and below na gross receipts sa isang taon. Tapos isa lang yung loan, isa lang po yung payer niya. Okay. And then, si BIR, hindi po siya mag-i-issue ng certificate of registration sa pag ganito yung revenue nila. So, punta tayo sa invoicing, tapos bookkeeping requirements. So, pag below 250, exempted sa invoicing, ibig sabihin, yung pagkuha ng authority to print sa amin, exempt siya. And then, yung registration ng books of accounts, maintenance, exempt din pag below 250 yung revenue niya. Gross receipts sa isang taon. Okay, pagdating naman sa tax compliance, next slide po tayo, ma'am. Ito ang tax compliance nila. So, at year-end, pag natapos yung buong taon, required ka nag-file ng annual income tax mo, which is 1701. Quarterly filing of quarterly income tax exempted. Take note, exempted kayo sa filing ng quarterly income tax po, And then, sa accounting nyo, tingnan nyo, not subject to withholding tax. So, wala kayong ibabawas doon pag below 250. Bakit? Kasi kung titignan natin yung rates sa regular income tax under Section 24A, 2B, pag 250 and below, yung tax rate, 0. So, hindi ka na dapat magbawas dyan kasi i-refund mo yan sa kanila pag binawas mo yan. So, yun ang filing nila sa income. So, sa percentage, tingnan natin sa percentage. Di ba yung tax type na ilalagay? Income, percentage. Sa percentage, may option sila. Number 1 option. So, yung option number 1, kung nag-avail sila dun sa regular income tax, so, magpa-file sila ngayon ng percentage tax nila. Return quarterly percentage tax using form 2551M. Pero may option si taxpayer na mag-avail ng substituted filing. So kumbaga, if i-fill up niya yung Annex B and then Annex F dun sa RMC 51 2018. So yung Annex A, actually yung Annex A, nagbigay ako ng copy kay Ma'am Corazon. So hindi ko kasi masingit dito sa slides ko eh. Ma'am, pwede ba natin mapakita yung Annex A? Para at least may idea sila kung ano yung klase po. Doon kasi sa Annex A kasi, sasabihin mo sa withholding agent mo na ito yung revenue ko sa isang taon. And then, sasabihin mo doon na mag-a-avail ako doon sa regular income tax. Annex 1, A1, ma'am. Okay. Siguro ma'am, ibigyan nyo lang siguro sila ng copy after ikwan po. Pwede nyo siguro i-email naman po yan sa kanila po. So, dun sa Annex A1, so, yun nga, ini-inform mo si kwan mo doon, si withholding agent na ito ang revenue ko. Tapos, mag-a-avail ako sa ganito. For example, yun sa, mag-a-avail ka dun sa regular income tax rate po, no? So, so, isa-subject mo ako sa rate na 3% na final withholding. Withholding tax na 3%, withholding 3%. Pero nung ginawa yung create, note po ako dyan, yung 3%, kasi yung sa RMC kasi hindi pa namin eh. Pero nung under the create law, yung 3%, dineduce to 1%. Pero with that, from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2023 lang. So from pagdating ng July 1, 2023, ibabalik dun sa 3%. Kaya hindi ko tinanggal yung 3% na rate po sa percentage tax. So yun ang isang option ni TP sa filing ng percentage tax niya. Pangalawang option, option B, so meron siyang, pwede siyang mag-avail kung qualified siya dun sa 8% income tax. So pag nag-avail siya, so ibig sabihin, exempt siya sa filing and payment of percentage tax. Bakit? Kasi yung once na nag-avail ka kasi ng 8% income tax, ito is in lieu of the regular income tax and other percentage tax under Section 116 ng tax code natin. So para mag-avail dun sa 8%, ang gagawin mo, isi-signify mo yung intention mo to avail. Next slide tayo, ma'am. Nandun po yung sa 8% po. Ayan po. So professionals na merong revenue ng 250 and below sa isang taon, yun, shall signify the intention to elect 8% income tax rate by filing the BIR Form 1905. So bakit? Kasi once na nag-avail ka kasi dyan, i-update natin yung registration nyo po. Yung tax type mo na percentage tax, tatanggalin natin. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga, di ba, yung 8% income tax kasi, equivalent niyan sa payment mo ng income tax and then dun sa 3% percentage tax mo. So ito is pang-avail, kung mag-a-avail ka nito, yearly ang availment nito. So for example, ngayong taon, mag-a-avail ka, inform mo kaagad si Bureau. Ito mag-a-avail ako, so mag-file ka ng 1905 mo. And then kami naman, i-update namin yung registration mo. So tatanggalin namin yung tax type na percentage. So maiwan na lang na tax type mo, registration, and then income tax. The following year, kung gusto mo pa rin mag-avail dun sa 8%, and then tapos qualified ka din, inform mo kami ulit. Kasi yearly ang availment nito. And then take note, once na in-avail mo to, irrevocable to sa isang taxable year. For example, itong 2021, in-avail mo to, hindi mo na pwedeng bawiin. Okay. Yun po yung sa registration, invoicing, and bookkeeping requirements, and then compliance requirements kung yung revenue mo below 250, tapos one payer lang. So, simple lang yun. Medyo madali lang. So next tayo, itong next, yung revenue mo naman dito, above 250, pero hindi nag-exceed ng 3 million. So again, yung requirements natin, parehas. So copy ng contract of service, any identification issued by authorized government agency, so pwede birth certificate, mga license natin, so pwede. And then payment ng RF, nandyan ulit. Registration fee, registration tax type, RF, IT, percentage tax. Parehas, except dito sa range ng revenue na to, mag-i-issue na kami ng Certificate of Registration. So yung Certificate of Registration yun ang BIR Form 2303. So yan yung proof na registered ka kay Bureau. So next slide po tayo dun sa bookkeeping and invoicing requirements sa range ng revenue na above 250 pero hindi nag-exceed ng 3 million. So tingnan nyo yung difference. So ito, hindi na siya exempt sa invoicing tapos bookkeeping requirements. So since hindi na siya exempt, kukuha na siya ng authority to print sa amin dun sa resibo niya. Tapos dun sa resibo, dun sa libro, magpaparehistro siya ng libro niya. Okay, since non-VAT taxpayer siya, so 4 sets na libro, 4 na libro yung ipaparehistro niya. So meron tayong cash receipts, cash disbursement, general journal, tapos general ledger. So yun po yung 4 na books na ipaparehistro mo sa amin upon registration. Okay, next slide po tayo, ma'am. Tax compliance requirements nung above 250 pero below 3 million na gross revenue. Filing ng income tax, okay? Tingnan niyo yun, no? Quarterly income tax, so required siya na mag-file ng quarterly income tax niya. So yung difference nun. And then, since dito mag-attach ka na ng ITR mo, yung FS mo, unless nag-avail ka ng 8% income tax rate dun sa income tax mo. So, sa accounting nyo po, ito yung mga withholding tax rates na ibabawas nyo dun sa mga may gross receipts na above 250 pero below 3 million. So, for professionals, 10 tapos 10% ang rate. Yung 5%, dapat si income payee, sasabihin niya mag-execute siya ng Annex 1. No? So sasabihin niya kay income payer niya, eto, may revenue ako na, for example, 1 million. Tapos 1 million. So, since 1 million, hindi nag-exceed ng 3 million, tapos non-VAT ako, so ang rate na ibabawas mo, 5%. Okay. Anong consequence pagkuan? Hindi ka nag-file ng Annex 1 mo dun sa withholding agent. Hindi ka nag-file. Ang consequence, ang ibabawas niya, whichever is higher. So whichever is higher, between 5% again 10%, so 10% ang ibabawas niya. So ganun ka-importante yung Annex A1 sa inyo, yung mga job order natin. Kailangan bigyan mo si Kwan, withholding agent natin. Kasi kung hindi, ibabawas na sa'yo 10%. So yun, pinaka-importante yun. Again, pag VAT taxpayers yung Kwan, si job order, ibabawas mo din 10%. Pag professionals. Kuha po natin yon. Okay. Sa other services, next slide po. Ayun, dalawa din ang rate natin dyan. So 2% and then 10%. So ulit, para masubject ka ng 2%, dapat, yun nga, magsasubmit ko ulit ng Annex 1A dun sa withholding agent mo. Na ito, below 3 million yung revenue ko, tapos isa lang ang payer ko para masubject ka ng 2%. Pag hindi mo ginawa, so si withholding agent, ibabawas sa'yo 10%, whichever is higher ulit, yung consequence nun. Pag hindi ka nagsabi ng affidavit, nung Annex 1, affidavit of gross declaration of revenue or receipts. So kung VAT taxpayer, 10% yung ibabawas na rate. Okay po tayo doon? Clear ba tayo doon? Okay, next slide po. Okay. Doon sa filing ng percentage tax, si job order, pwede siyang mag-avail ng substituted filing ng percentage tax or VAT. So, next slide po tayo, ma'am. I-skip po saglit yan. Yung requirements, ito po yung gagawin nila, no? Kung nag-avail ka nung substituted filing ng percentage tax. So, ang gagawin mo, ino-notify mo si withholding agent mo. For non-percentage taxpayers, gagamitin mo yung Annex B ng RMC 2018. Ito po. Doon sa RMC, doon sa Annex B, sasabihin mo, ito po yung, this is to certify, na basahin ko lang po yung sa Annex B po pero ito is pwede kayong kumuha ng copy nyo kay Ma'am Corazon po. Annex B, this to certify that I am a non-VAT taxpayer. So, ibig non-VAT taxpayer kasi, below 3 million yung revenue mo. Person, pursuant to the provisions of RR 14-2003. So, ito yung implementing rules of regulation natin sa substituted percentage tax return. And in accordance with said regulation, I have availed of the optional registration under the 3% tax withholding in lieu of the 3% percentage tax system. So yun po ang nakalagay dun sa Notice of Availment of the Substituted Filing Percentage Tax, Annex B. So may kasama to, yung Annex F ng RMC 51-1. 51-2018. So, notice of availment of the option to pay tax through withholding tax process. So, itong dalawa na to, ibibigay mo to kay BIR para ma-update yung registration and then sa withholding agent para at least babawasan ka na ng 1% withholding and then hindi ka na magpa-file ng percentage tax mo. Excuse me. So, yung filing, since substituted percentage ka, si withholding agent niya, siya na magpa-file ng percentage tax in behalf sa'yo using Form 1600. BIR Form 1600. Okay. So, balik po tayo dun sa slides, ma'am. Okay. Government, so ito yung rate natin sa withholding. So, payer is required to withhold. So, 1% na yan, and then 5% creditable VAT. So, yung 5% creditable VAT, dati final yan, pero ngayon, under RMC 36-2021, ginawang creditable na. So, B, kung ito, 12% VAT if the payer will avail of substituted filing. So kung nag-avail si VAT taxpayer, si job order, kung VAT taxpayer nag-avail siya ng substituted filing, ang gagamitin niya ng annex para mag-avail dito, yung Annex C and then Annex F ng RMC 51-2018. So since yung letter C, kung nag-avail ka ng 8% income tax, so si withholding agent, since in-inform mo siya, nag-avail ka ng 8% income tax, so wala na siyang ibabawas. Kasi nga, di ba sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina, yung 8% income tax was in lieu of the regular income tax rate under Section 24A ng Tax Code and other percentage tax under Section 116 ng Tax Code natin. Okay. So next slide po, ma'am. Okay. Ito yung consequence kung nag-avail ka ng substituted filing ng VAT o kaya percentage tax. So, pwede kang automatic ka makaka-avail sa substituted official receipts. So basahin ko lang to, no? For sellers of services have been subjected to 3% percentage tax shall be exempt from obligation of issuing receipts covering the receipts of payment of services sold. So in lieu thereof, yung certificate na issue mo, yung 2306 tapos 2307, shall constitute untreated as substituted official receipts. So di ba, ibalik natin ma'am dun sa slides, dun sa invoicing requirements. Invoicing requirements po. Di ba dyan? Oh, nalagpas ma'am. Isa pa po. Hindi ma'am. Sorry. Ayan po. Di ba? Hindi siya exempted sa pag-issue ng receipts and then sa compliance sa invoicing requirements. But since nag-avail siya dun sa substituted filing ng percentage, ayun na. Automatic kuwan na siya. Substituted receipts na siya. So ibig sabihin, hindi na siya kukuha ng kuwan niya. ATP sa amin. Okay? Nakuha po natin. Okay. Balik tayo sa slides po. Anyway, lahat ng sinasabi ko mamaya isa-summarize ko para hindi kayo malito. Kasi medyo pasikot-sikot eh. Isa-summarize ko mamaya. Kumbaga meron akong ginawang table para at least susundan nyo na po yun. Next slide po. Ayun. So, ito pwede, kung gusto mong mag-avail ng 8% income tax rate ulit, ayun po. So, yun nga, ang gagawin mo, mag-file ka ng 1905 sa amin, and then yun nga, tatanggalin namin yung tax type na percentage tax mo. So, ang deadline nun, so before filing ng quarterly percentage o kaya filing ng quarterly income tax. So, pwede ka mag-avail ng dun sa 8% income tax rate. So next slide po tayo. So ito pangatlo. Ito naman, above 3 million yung gross receipts mo, pero isang payer lang. So since above 3 million yung gross receipts mo, mandatory ka na magbabat ka dito. Hindi ka, magbabat tax, hindi percentage. Kasi yung VAT threshold kasi natin 3 million and below eh. Once na above 3 million, mandatory ka na magbabat. So dun sa requirements sa registration namin, parehas ulit. 1901, contract of service, payment ng RF, tax type, ayun, mag-iiba sa tax type. So RF, income tax, and then VAT na. Subject ka na ng VAT kasi above 3 million ang revenue mo. Next slide po. And then bookkeeping requirements, so issuance of registered, so kukuha ka ng authority to print sa amin, di ka na exempted. And then registration, maintain ng books, hindi ka exempt. Pero pag VAT taxpayer, aside from the 4 books na sinabi ko, so may additional books pa yon, subsidiary books, which is yung sales book mo, tapos purchase book mo. So bali, 6 na yung books na ipaparehistro mo sa amin. Next slide po. Compliance requirements. So, filing ng ITR, quarterly ITR, since above 3 million ang revenue mo, receipts, dapat audited na rin yung FS mo, attachments mo sa pag-file ng ITR. Withholding rates expanded, since VAT ka na, so 10%. So withholding, so 5% creditable VAT. And then kung nag-avail siya ng substituted filing ng VAT, 12% ang rate na ibabawas nyo. Okay, next slide po. So what if multiple yung payer mo? So ibig sabihin, dalawa yung withholding agent mo, dalawa yung work mo. For example, DSWD, meron kay contract of service, tapos sa ibang government agency, merong kauli contract of service. Ito yung requirements na i-comply mo. So sa registration, ganun ulit. Same requirements din ulit tayo. So, RF, and then yung tax type mo, RF, income tax, VAT or percentage. Bakit VAT or percentage? Kasi magdidepend yun sa kung magkano yung revenue mo o gross receipts. Pag below 3 million, percentage ka. Pero kung above 3 million, mandatory magbabat ka. Next slide po. So sa invoicing, sa registration, di pula sila exempt. Next slide po. Tax compliance, so filing ng income tax, quarterly income tax, and then kung yung yung revenue mo above 3 million, so ibig sabihin VAT taxpayer ka, so dapat audited yung FS mo. Tapos kung below 3 million, non-VAT ka, in case mag-avail ka ng 8% income tax, so kahit wala ng FS, hindi na mandatory yung financial statement mo. Once na nag-avail ka ng 8% income tax rate. So, withholding tax percentage or VAT, so yun, pag percentage siya, so 1%, pag VAT, 5%, creditable withholding tax. Sorry, hindi ko na-update po yan. And then next slide po. So ito ulit, for professionals, pero since multiple multiple payer na, ibang annex na yung i-comply mo. Yung annex 2 ng RMC 51-2018. So nandun din, sasabihin mo doon, ito yung revenue ko, tapos dalawa yung payer ko, and then dapat ito yung rate na ibabawas mo sa amin. So yung 5%, kung hindi siya nag-submit ng Annex A2, so si withholding agent, in consequence to whichever is higher yung rate na rate na ibabawas niya, kung hindi siya nag-submit, so 10%. Kung VAT taxpayer, so 10%. So remember, pag VAT, so 10% kaagad yung withholding tax rate niya. For other suppliers of services, ganun ulit. For except, yun nga, Annex 8.2 together with COR. And then, pag hindi siya nag-submit ng Annex 2, 10% whichever is higher. And then kung VAT taxpayer siya, 10% ang rate na ibabawas niyo po. Next slide po, ma'am. Ito yung filing and payment of quarterly percentage tax except qualified unavailed of 8%. So ang pwedeng mag-avail dito, di ba nabanggit ko na rin kanina, yung mga non-VAT taxpayers, so ibig sabihin, below 3 million ang revenue. Kasi pag VAT, hindi siya pwedeng mag-avail ng 8%, automatic disqualified ka agad. Pag VAT taxpayers, hindi pwedeng mag-avail ng 8% income tax rate. And then kung VAT taxpayer siya, so hindi siya exempt dun sa submission ng summary list of sales and purchases. So may availment of the 8% income tax, ayun nga, same as dun sa loan payer, dun sa availment, same yung natin, yung rules natin, pagdating dun sa 8% income tax, kahit multiple yung multiple yung loan payer mo. So once nag-avail ka ng 8% income tax, so tatanggalin namin yung percentage tax mo. So ibig sabihin, income tax lang mariretain dun sa certificate of registration mo. So next slide po, ma'am. Ayan. Sige po, next, ma'am. Bakit ganyan? Okay, hindi parang bumaba yung column number 1. So, ito yung summary ng lahat ng didiscuss ko po sa inyo. Yung mga registration requirements, bookkeeping, invoicing requirements, and then withholding rates sa income, and then business tax. So tingnan nyo yung second column. So registration, may check lahat. So mandatory, magre-register kayo lahat, TBIR. Yung COR, except yung revenue niya na below 250. Hindi kami mag-i-issue ng COR doon. And the rest, mag-i-issue na kami ng Certificate of Registration. Doon sa percentage or VAT, column 1, 2, 3, 4. So, check lahat. Pero napansin nyo, yung may asterisk po, no? Ibig sabihin kasi niyan, yung may asterisk kasi na isa, pwede silang mag-avail ng substituted filing ng percentage tax, okay, VAT returns, and then substituted receipts. Okay. Yung column 5, yun sa bookkeeping requirements natin. So sa below 250, exempt siya. Tapos ang the rest, kailangan mag-comply dun sa bookkeeping requirements namin. Invoicing, yun LS, below 250, exempted siya. And then, oops, balik po tayo, ma'am. Ayan, ayun, naayos na. Then sa invoicing, sabi ko nga, si below 250, exempt siya. And then yung above 250, pero tapos loan, and then above 250 pero hindi nag-exceed ng 3 million, tapos above 250 tapos nag-exceed ng 2 million, may asterisk siya. Yung asterisk na isa yan, ibig sabihin, ulit, pwedeng mag-avail ng substituted filing of percentage tax and VAT return, VAT receipts. So, sa filing ng ITR, ayun, may check po lahat. So, ibig sabihin, magpa-file sila ng ITR nila. Quarterly ITR, so ang may exemption lang yung mga below 250. Sa filing po ng 2551Q, ito yung percentage tax. 2550M, ito yung sa VAT. Tapos 2550Q sa VAT. So yung asterisk, isama nyo na yung below 250 once na nag-avail sa substituted filing, babawasan nyo ng 1% rate ulit. So itong mga to, pwedeng mag-avail dun sa substituted filing ng percentage tax. And then sa withholding, so sa below 250, wala nang withholding ha. Pag below 250, walang withholding sa expanded. Sa business tax, kung pinili niya yung regular income tax, tapos nag-avail siya ng substituted filing ng percentage tax, magwi-withheld ka pa rin pag below 250. Kita niyo po? Pero, kung nag-avail siya ng 8% income tax, yung may revenue na below 250, so hindi ka na magwi-withheld ng 3%. Clear tayo doon? Yun ang nakakalito eh. So once na nag-avail ng 8% si job order na below 250 yung kwan niya, so wala ka nang ibabawas sa percentage tax na 1%. Okay. Withholding, ito ulit yung 2%, 10%. So other services, 2% yan. Kung may annex 1 yung sworn declaration of revenue, tapos below 3 million, 2%. Pero kung wala yun, tapos VAT taxpayer siya, 10%. So, ito, expanded, kung above 3 million, so tingnan nyo po, 10% automatic ibabawas nyo. Business tax. So ito, 1% to, take note of, 1% to from July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2023. And then sa VAT rate natin sa withholding, 5 or 2%. And then, mapapansin niyo yung huli, dun sa multiple payer. Hindi kasi siya pwedeng mag-avail ng kwan eh, dun sa substituted filing eh. So, ibig sabihin, magpa-file siya ng VAT returns niya o kaya percentage tax. Next slide po, ma'am. Ayan, yung mga may asterisk, yan po yung explanation. Okay, next slide po. Okay, before ako magtapos, in case may update sa registration ni job order, ibig sabihin, hindi na nag-renew ng kontrata, nag-change siya ng address. So, pag mga ganun, change address, kailangan, o kaya mag-close siya ng business, o mag-close siya ng registration sa amin, kailangan niyang i-update yung registration sa amin. Yun ang pinaka-importante. Kasi, for example, nagtapos na yung kontrata mo. So, hindi na rin yung kontrata mo, pero hindi mo in-update si bureau. Okay. Pag hindi mo in-update si bureau, ibig sabihin, yung mga data mo, yung mga registration requirement mo sa amin, ganun pa rin. Kasi si bureau kasi, hindi namin pwedeng i-update yung registration mo kung hindi mo kami i-inform na ito, magsasara na ako, o kaya maglilipat ako ng address. But since, for example, yun nga, kung hindi na rin yung registration mo, no? Tapos, nakalimutan mo yung filing, tapos payment ng RF mo kay Bureau, ayun. Kasi yung mga taxes kasi natin, may mga deadlines yan. Once hindi ka nakapag-file on time, may corresponding penalties yan. So sa mga job order natin, in case yun nga, mag-update, kailangan nyo mag-update ng registration, kailangan i-notify mo si Bureau using BIR Form 1905. So, dan po nagtatapos ang discussion ko regarding sa job order. So siguro 10 minutes break muna tayo. Medyo yung topic natin kasi medyo nakakalito din. Okay po? Thank you. In case may question po sila, ma'am, paki-take note na lang din and then sasagutin po namin lahat. Thank you.
Again po, thank you Sir Rayan po. Mamaya po, no? Meron po tayo break. So, pwede niyo pong i-type yung inyong mga questions po again sa ating chat box or kung may pwede po kayong i-share na discussion. Lalo na po na sa mga individual natin o mga staff natin, no, from the sa surveys and yung kanilang employment extension. So, sige po, we will give you a 10 minutes break po and see you after a break. ito po yung ating 10-minute break. So, para po sa ating susunod na presenters po. We are Dr. Loretta po. Good afternoon po.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Clear po ba yung voice ko?
Yes, sir. Clear po.
Okay, sige po. Start na po tayo, ma'am. Pwede pong pa-open na po nung slide. PowerPoint presentation.
Sir, parang wala po na-send sa amin na presentation po.
Ay, hindi ba dumating? Wait lang, ma'am. Pwede akong mag-email sa'yo ngayon.
Sure po, sir.
Sige, ma'am. Wait lang. I-open ko lang po yung email ko.
Ma'am, na-email namin yan kay Ma'am Corazon.
Ayun.
Kasama yun sa in-email po ni Abis kanina. Yung slides.
So, wala po na-receive from our end. Pero, hintayin po namin po yung link po.
Sige, ma'am. Okay lang. Anong email address po nila? Okay lang, ma'am, pa-dictate na lang or pa-lagay na lang under message dito.
Ayan po.
Okay.
Sir John, may natin.
Okay. Okay, na-send ko na po. Pa-check na lang po ulit. Nasa email na po ba?
Sige, sir, medyo magulinan po yung presentation.
Okay. Wala po na-email sa akin si Sir Loreto. Ang nag-email po si Ma'am Abby. Ang file name po is withholding tax compensation.
Yes po, withholding tax compensation po.
Pero na-email ko na rin po ngayon. Pa-check na lang din po.
Medyo delay lang ako, sir. Wala pa rin po na-receive.
Sige, okay lang po. No problem. Mag-send din ba ako dito sa IDS?
Sure po, sir.
Sige.
Sa LDSSO MIMAROPA sa
Okay.
Naka-upload po ba yan sa Drive?
Kung okay lang, ako na lang mag-present dito.
Sige po. So, pwede niyo pong i-click po.
Wait lang. Wait lang. Wait lang po. I-open ko muna siya. Then,
Sir, receive na po namin po.
okay. Thank you. Okay.
Sir, yung first presentation niyo po ay hindi.
Withholding tax compensation. Okay. So good afternoon po. I am Loreto Tilbe Jr. And now I will discuss naman po about the withholding tax compensation. or tax para sa mga regular na employee or yung may plantilla positions. Magkaiba po ang job order sa regular government employee. As discussed by Visor Rayan, ang job order worker ay may contract of service between government agency and the individual. Walang employer-employee relationship, and this is pursuant to Joint Circular Number 1, Series of 2017 of Civil Service Commission, Commission on Audit, and Department of Budget and Management. So instead, may specific na kontrata or may specific na term kung hanggang kailan matatapos, may specific na trabaho na dapat hiwalay sa ginagawa ng regular na employee at specific na kaukulang bayad para sa serbisyo. Minsan, ang kontrata is for 3 months or maybe 6 months to a maximum of 1 year. Sa regular employees naman, ito ay mga empleyado na permanent or yung may security tenure. Mas madami ang benefits na binibigay sa mga regular employees na wala sa job order worker, such as leave credits, pera or personal equity and retirement account, rata or representation and transportation allowance, 13th month pay, etc. So ano nga ba ang withholding tax compensation? By definition, ang creditable withholding tax on compensation or withholding tax compensation is the tax withheld from income payment of individuals arising from an employer-employee relationship or individuals earning compensation income. Bale, ito ay income tax ng bawat empleyado na ang kita ay purely compensation or sahod lamang, and ang nagre-remit ng tax ay si mismong employer through the withholding tax system. In your case, si DSWD. Sa amin naman, si BIR. Ang subject sa withholding tax compensation ay ang taxable income ng bawat isang empleyado. Ang taxable income ay kino-compute through gross compensation income less non-taxable compensation or benefits. After makompute ang taxable income, pwedeng nang makompute ang withholding tax compensation based on graduated income tax rates. Meron po tayong withholding tax table para dyan, and I will discuss it later. So again, ang taxable income ay equal to gross compensation less non-taxable compensation. Ang gross compensation income, kasama dito ang salaries, wages, emoluments, honoraria, allowances, etc. Or simply, lahat ng nare-receive na sahod, bonuses, at allowances mula sa employer ay considered as gross compensation income. Ang non-taxable compensation naman or benefits, kasama dito ang 13th month pay, meron siyang threshold, de minimis benefits, meron siyang list at bawat isa merong threshold, employees share in GSIS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, union dues, etc. Next slide. So meron pong amendments noong 2018 sa withholding tax compensation pursuant to RA 10963, otherwise known as Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion or TRAIN Law. In-amend particularly ang Section 2.78.1 ng Revenue Regulation 2-98 or withholding of income tax on compensation pertaining to de minimis benefits and exemption from withholding tax on compensation or yung 13th month and other benefits. Next slide. So una, ang 13th month and other benefits. Increase of the total amount of exclusion to 90,000 for 13th month pay and other benefits. Bale, from 82,000 in 2017 and previous years, ang bagong threshold ay 90,000. The 90,000 shall apply or shall only apply to the 13th month pay and other benefits prescribed under the provisions of Section 2.78.1 of Revenue Regulation 2-98 as amended. and by Section 6 of Revenue Regulation 11-2018, and shall in no case apply to other compensation received by an employee under an employer-employee relationship. So other benefits naman, this may include the Christmas bonus, productivity incentive bonus, loyalty award, gifts in cash or in kind, and other benefits of similar nature actually received by officials and employees of both government and private offices. Next slide po. Next is the minimis benefits. So ito ang other benefits na pwedeng ibigay sa bawat employees. Mostly, non-taxable benefits ito. However, may threshold or minimum amount at kapag lumampas sa threshold, masasama sa taxable income. Una, monetized unused vacation leave credits of private employees not exceeding 10 days during the year, and the monetized value of leave credits paid to government officials and employees. So, pag private employee, monetized unused vacation leave credits lang ang exempt, not exceeding 10 days. Kung merong monetized sick leave, taxable siya. Kaya mostly sa mga private companies, pinapagamit talaga yung sick leave, otherwise forfeited. Tapos sa vacation leave naman, maximum of 10 days lang. Kasi in excess of 10 days, taxable na siya. And for government employees naman, exempt lahat ng monetized vacation leave and sick leave regardless kung ilang days ang imo-monetized. Number 2, medical cash allowance to dependents of employee not exceeding 1,500 per employee per semester or 250 per month. Kung lalampas ng 1,000 per employee per semester or 250 per month ang medical cash allowance, taxable. Rice subsidy of 2,000 or 1 sack of 50 kilogram rice per month, amounting to not more than 2,000. If yung 1 sack of rice allowance ay lumampas ng 2,000, in excess, taxable. Uniform and clothing allowance not exceeding 6,000 per annum. Bale, dapat 6,000 or less ang uniform and clothing allowance, otherwise in excess of 6,000, taxable. Kung mapapansin nyo, yung clothing allowance natin, usually 5,000 to 6,000 lamang para non-taxable. Number 5, actual yearly medical benefits not exceeding 10,000 per annum. So kung nagbigay si company ng medical assistance in excess of 10,000, taxable. Number 6, laundry allowance not exceeding 300 per month. Kung lalampas ng 300 sa isang buwan, taxable. Next slide, please. Number 7, employees achievement awards. Example, for length of service or safety achievement with monetary value not exceeding 10,000 under an established written plan. So if may achievement award ang employee mula sa office at may cash gift, hindi dapat lalampas sa 10,000 kasi in excess, taxable siya. Gifts given during Christmas and major anniversary celebrations not exceeding 5,000 per employee per annum. Mapapansin nyo rin yung Christmas bonus natin, by December, usually 5,000 po dahil non-taxable siya. Daily meal allowance for overtime work not exceeding 25% of the basic minimum wage on a per region basis. Bale, si Department of Labor, si Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE through the National Wages and Productivity Commission or NPWC ay nagdi-determine at nag-i-implement ng minimum wage sa bawat region. Halimbawa sa NCR ay nasa 500 to 537. Ang non-taxable daily meal allowance ay 25%, which is equal to 125 or 134.25 pesos pag mag-exceed taxable. Last and number 10, benefits received by an employee by virtue of a collective bargaining agreement and productivity incentive schemes, provided that the total annual monetary value received from both CBA and productivity incentive schemes combined do not exceed 10,000 per employee per year. Ang collective bargaining agreement ay isang kontrata executed upon request of either the employer or the exclusive bargaining representative of the employees, incorporating the agreement reached after negotiations with respect to wages, hours of work, and all other terms and conditions of employment, including proposals for adjustments, any grievances or questions under such agreement. So kung may union kayo at merong mga tawag dito, mga sinasabi si union, may sinasabi na dapat mag-increase ng sahod or dapat may incentives, yung incentive na yon na galing sa CBA in excess of 10,000 taxable. Sa productivity incentive scheme naman, halimbawa nakakota sa sales, may incentives or bonus, or in our case, productivity-based bonus. If si productivity incentive bonus at yung incentives from collective bargaining agreement, ang total nun dapat hindi lampas sa 10,000. In excess, taxable. Next slide po. Provided that the excess of de minimis benefits over their respective ceilings prescribed by this regulation shall be considered as part of other benefits, and the employee receiving it shall be to be taxed only on the excess of 90,000 ceiling. So ito yung catch. Yung sinabi ko kanina about the de minimis benefits, kapag lumampas sa threshold ay taxable. Pero not yet po. Kasi kung yung excess doon sa number 1 to 10 ay isasama sa threshold na 90,000, pag hindi lumampas sa 90,000, non-taxable pa din. Magiging taxable lang pag lumampas ng 90,000. Next slide po. So ito po ang revised withholding tax table, effective January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2022. Ang compensation range ng withholding tax ay pwedeng daily, semi-monthly, or monthly. Di ba sumasahod naman tayo kinsenas at katapusan, pero madalas ang payslip ay binibigay at month end. Kaya ang ginagamit na basis natin usually ay ang monthly compensation range. Yun yung nasa baba po. So kung ang sweldo mo 20,833 and below, zero ang withholding tax mo. Kapag naman between 20,833 to 33,332, in excess of 20,833, subject na to 20% withholding tax compensation, and so on and so forth. Next slide po. So example, Ms. Lin, an employee of LGU, is receiving regular monthly compensation in the amount of 165,000 net of mandatory contributions, or ito yung pag-ibig, GSIS, etc., with supplemental compensation in the amount of 5,000 per month. By using the monthly withholding tax table, beginning January 2018, the withholding tax beginning January 2018 is computed by referring to compensation range under column 4, which shows a predetermined tax of 10,833.33. So take note lang natin, 165,000 yung sahod niya monthly at meron siyang supplemental compensation 5,000 for the month. Balik po tayo sa unang slide, ma'am. Yan, thank you. Bali, ang basis ng pag-determine ng compensation range ay ang monthly compensation, which is 165, and based on the withholding tax table, yung under siya sa column 4, which is between 66,667 to 166,666. Okay na po ma'am, balik na po tayo sa next slide. And next slide po. Thank you. So, ito yung computation. Taxable compensation, 165,000. Less compensation range, yung sa range 4, 66,667. Ang excess is 98,333. I-add ang supplemental compensation na 5,000 for a total of 103,333. So, on the first 66,667, predetermined na yung withholding tax na 10,833.33. And in excess, or yung 103,333, i-multiply lamang sa 30%. So, ang total monthly withholding tax ay 41,833.23. Ang BIR form na ginagamit every month is ang 1601C at ang magre-remit nito si employer. Ang 1604CF naman, si employer din ang nagfa-file nito, information return naman ito on or before January 31 of the following year. Next slide po. So, pagdating naman sa year-end adjustments, the government withholding agent shall compute for the year adjustment of all its employees every December of each year, and every time an employee will be separated from the employment for the particular separated employee. Deficiency in taxes withheld as against the tax due for the calendar year shall be deducted from the December salary, while excess of taxes withheld over the tax due for the calendar year shall be refunded to the concerned employee not later than 25% of the following year. In case of separation from employment before December, the refund shall be given to the separated employee upon payment of the last compensation during the year. Taxes refunded by the employer government agency can be deducted from the remittance amount of taxes withheld in the current month in which the refund was made and in the succeeding months thereafter until the full amount refunded is fully recovered. Bale, every December of the year, i-compute ang total salaries for the whole year, less non-taxable compensation or the 13th month and other benefits subject to threshold, as discussed earlier po. Para makuha ang total taxable compensation, dito mache-check ang final tax ng isang empleyado at lahat ng nai-withhold or nabawas sa sahod at nai-remit as tax from January to November ay ibabawas sa total withholding tax due at the end of the year. Either may babayaran or may i-refund. Kapag lampas ang na-withhold kumpara sa total tax due at the end of the year, magkakaroon ng tax refund na dapat i-refund or dapat ibigay ni employer kay employee before January 25 of the following year. Kung kulang naman ng binayad, kailangan singilin ng additional tax by December. In the case ng magkaroon ng refund at negative ang balance ni withholding agent or the employer, halimbawa ni DSWD, meron siyang over-remittance sa BIR, syempre kailangang i-refund yun ni DSWD sa empleyado niya. Hindi po si BIR ang magre-refund, si employer po, si withholding agent. Yung negative amount sa over-remittance, carry over lang to the next year. At pwedeng i-deduct sa withholding tax on compensation pagdating ng January. Kung negative pa rin, pwede pang ibawas hanggang February, hanggang sa maubos po yung negative amount na iyon. Next slide po. So, example, for year-end adjustment computation. For taxable year 2018, EBQ company's records reflect the following. Ms. Grace received the following compensation for the year. Monthly basic salary, 50,000. Overtime pay for November, 10,000. 13th month pay, 50,000. Other benefits, 10,000. Withholding tax, January to November, is 73,334.25. Next slide. Ang total income received for the year ni Ms. Grace is computed as follows. Yung basic salary niya, again, 50,000 per month. So, 50,000 times 12, 600,000. Ang overtime pay niya once lang on November, 10,000. Ang 13th month pay niya, 50,000. Other benefits, 10,000 for a total income received for the year of 670,000. Less yung non-taxable compensation or non-taxable income. Yung 13th month pay, again, meron tong threshold na 90,000. So, outright, yung 50,000, exempt yun. Yung other benefits, 10,000. Kasama yun sa 90,000 threshold. So, less 60,000 for a total taxable compensation income of 610,000. Yung tax due niya, ma'am, pwede, next slide muna tayo. So, ito ang bagong personal income tax earned for, ito yung bagong personal income tax schedule effective January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2022. Yung total taxable compensation niya kanina, 610,000. So based dito, nagre-range siya between 400,000 to 800,000. Ang basic amount is 30,000 for the first 400,000. In excess of 400,000, 25%. So ma'am, balik po tayo sa previous slide. Ma'am, previous slide po. Previous lang po muna. Balik po tayo. Isa pa po. Thank you. So yung tax due on first 400,000, 30,000. On excess, 610,000 minus 400,000 multiplied by 25%. 52,500 for a total tax due of 82,500. Meron siyang January to November withholding tax na 73,334.25. So ang amount to be withheld in December, 9,165.75. So next slide, ma'am. Next slide pa po. Thank you. Ito po naman ang sample ng alpha list of employees, particularly kung i-represent ang salary and withholding tax computation ni Ms. Grace. So, under column 2, makikita yung taxpayer identification number niya. Column 3, yung name niya. Column 4, yung gross compensation. Column 4B, yung 13th month pay. Column 4E, yung salaries and other forms of compensation. Ang column 4F naman, ang total non-taxable compensation niya, which is 60,000. And ang column 4G, ang total taxable income niya, which is 610,000. Pagdating naman sa column 6, makikita ang tax due niya, which is from January to December or for the whole year na 82,500. At sa column 7, makikita yung winitheld sa kanya from January to November na 73,334.25. At sa column 8, makikita yung amount withheld on December. Next slide po. So, Section 51A, substituted filing of income tax returns by employees receiving purely compensation income from only one employer in the Philippines. So ang substituted filing of income tax, originally sa NIRC wala siyang provision. Dito sa train law, under train law, substituted filing of ITRs is available for individual taxpayers. It has 3 requirements. First, receiving purely compensation income regardless of amount. Second, from only one employer in the Philippines for the calendar year. Third, the income tax of which has been correctly withheld by the employer or tax due equals tax withheld. The certificate of withholding filed by the employers duly stamped received by the BIR shall be substituted filing by such employees. Actually, substituted filing of ITR began in the year 2002. It became mandatory for all qualified employees. Under the substituted tax filing, the employer's annual information return of income taxes withheld on Compensation and Final Withholding Taxes, or BIR Form 1604-CF, shall be considered as the substitute income tax return of its employees, inasmuch as the information reported in the employee's BIR Form 2316 is consistent with the information contained in the employer's BIR Form 1604-CF. So kung qualified ang isang employee, hindi na niya kailangang mag-file ng BIR Form 1701A, 1700, or 1701, or Income Tax Return of Individual. Yung BIR Form 2316 or the Employee Certificate Compensation Payment / tax withheld na binibigay ni employer on or before January 31 the following year ay katumbas na rin ng ITR or para na rin nag-file ng BIR Form 1700 or 1701A. Next slide. Section 2.83.4, Substituted Filing of Income Tax Returns by Employees Receiving Purely Compensation Income. Sino-sino ang hindi qualified sa substituted filing ng ITR? Una, those deriving compensation from 2 or more employees concurrently or successively, or may dalawang trabaho sa buong taon na magkasabay. Pangalawa, those income tax of which has not been withheld correctly, mali yung computation. Pangatlo, those deriving other non-business, non-professional related income in addition to compensation income not otherwise subject to a final tax. Pangapat, individuals receiving purely compensation from a single employer with income tax due has been correctly withheld, but whose spouse falls any of the aforesaid items under 1, 2, and 3. So kung yung asawa nag-work din at merong dobleng trabaho, merong mali yung computation ng income tax, ay hindi qualified sa substituted filing. Panglima, non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business in the Philippines, deriving purely compensation income or compensation income and other business, non-professional related income. So kung yung non-resident aliens, hindi lang may trabaho dito sa Pilipinas, may business din, hindi siya entitled for substituted filing of ITR. Next slide po. So, anong makikita sa BIR Form 2316? The certificate shall indicate the following information. Next slide na lang po tayo kasi andun po yung example. So, ito po yung example ng BIR Form 2316, particularly ni Ms. Grace, yung illustration natin kanina. Makikita yung name and address of the employee, pero dito po parang wala pong registered address, hindi lang po nilagay or hindi lang nailagay, pero dapat po complete ang information na yan. Andyan din po yung taxpayer identification number niya, makikita din ang name and address ng employer. Makikita din ang sum of compensation paid, included the non-taxable benefits, the amount of statutory wage received if employee is minimum wage earner. Makikita din ang overtime pay, holiday pay, night shift differential pay, hazard pay received if employee is minimum wage earner. At sa dulo makikita ang amount of tax due and the amount of tax withheld. Which is dapat equal silang dalawa. Kung magkaroon ng refund, 'di ba mas mataas yung nai-remit ang nai-remit ng employer, nagkaroon ng refund si employee. Kung magkaroon ng refund, kung magkano tax due niya, yun lang yun. Kasi i-refund naman yung over-remittance, yung over-remittance ng employer, 'di ba? I-refund naman sa employee. Tapos, the next year, pwedeng i-deduct yun sa monthly 1601C ni employer. So kung magkano lang yung tax due, yun din dapat yung tax withheld. Next slide po. Oh, shit. Sorry. Sino to? So ito po yung other example of BIR Form 2316. Parang parang nahati lang siya, pero ito yung babang bahagi ng BIR Form 2316. Makikita yung gross compensation income, yung non-taxable income, yung taxable income, yung tax due at tax withheld. Makikita din yung employer's name and address under lines 16 and 17. Next slide po. Certificate of Income and Tax Withheld on Compensation or yung BIR Form 2316. Who shall file? Ang magfa-file nito si employer. When to issue? Dapat ma-issue ito sa employee on or before January 31 or on the last payment of compensation if terminated before December 31. Number of copies, triplicate copies. Signed by both employer and employee under the penalty of perjury. Next slide po. So ito ang flowchart ng employees withholding statement. Again, yung BIR Form 2316 dapat mai-issue not later than January 31 in triplicate copies. Yung isang kopya sa employee, original, yung duplicate copy sa employer at sa BIR. Next slide po. So pagkatapos mapirmahan ang BIR Form 2316, magpa-file naman si employer ng list or certified list of employees qualified for substituted filing of annual income tax return. Ito po yung deadline natin sa February 28 and malapit na po ang deadline. Monday na po to, February 28 at wala pong extension. Next slide po. Substituted filing of income tax returns by employee receiving compensation, purely compensation income. So, under certified list of employees qualified for substituted filing of annual income tax return, which is due on February 28, yung pupunta sila sa BIR para magpa-stamp ng mga 2316. Yung 2316 na yon, ibibigay kay employee ulit, copy niya na yon. Hindi na siya kailangang mag-file ng income tax return. Sufficient na yung BIR Form 2316 kung yung income lang naman niya ay purely compensation income. So, okay na po. Thank you so much. Tapos na po.
Thank you so much to Director. So, for the questions po, later on na lang din po natin itahan mo yung question.
Yes po. After ng last reporter po, si Miss Abby.
Okay po, let's have again po a 10-minute break po para po ma-absorb muna natin yung mga naging discussion ng ating resource person. As well as po, kung may questions po kayo, again po, open lang po yung ating chat box. No? I-type in nyo lang po yung mga katanungan ninyo and then i-discuss po. May invite natin yung ating mga resource person for the Q&A po. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Thank you po.